What's up everybody, my name is Richie. Welcome to the first video of my YouTube channel. That's me on the wall, and as you can probably tell, I'm terrified of heights, which is why a little over a year ago, I started rock climbing. Forcing myself to deal with this fear of heights has helped me tremendously, but I still have a long way to go, so I'm ready to set some concrete goals. The way that my rock climbing gym organizes the grades is by color, and each color can be 3 different grades, as you can see on the chart. For the sake of simplicity, I will call all yellows V0s, all reds V1s, and so on to be consistent. But keep in mind this may not be completely accurate. Currently I can climb some purples and I feel pretty close to getting a couple oranges, which roughly corresponds to a V2 or V3 level of climbing. My goal by the end of this year is to be able to climb half of the pink routes and most of the blue routes, roughly corresponding with a V7 level of climbing. On this YouTube channel, I will chronicle all the steps I will take to achieve this goal and many other goals that I will set in the future. Hopefully this channel will allow me to take the time to reflect on what I want, what is working, what isn't working, and keep me accountable to my goals. In this video specifically, I will walk you through what I am working on with each climb and how I plan to improve. We begin by warming up. I like to warm up with easy climbs, or climbs I have done before. After completing this V0, I move on to the V1 that is partially on the overhang wall. Overhangs are my personal favorite, probably because the handholds are usually really good compared to the slabs. During the warm-up, I really like to focus on the technique I use, and in particular, my foot placement, as this still requires a lot of effort and thought for me. After the V1, we move back to a V0 with really great holds. Nothing too complicated here, and we finish up our warm-up with one more V0 and one more V1. I have previously done all the climbs in this warm-up, so I know they are within my skill level and will help me get ready for harder climbs. With that, we jump right into our first climb of the day. This is a climb I have tried a couple of times before starting to record myself but have not been able to get just yet. It is a red climb, but I believe it's on the harder side of red climbs, at least for my climbing style. As you can see, I am struggling with what to do once I get my hands up to the volume. It is difficult to progress without moving my feet higher, but it is hard to move my feet higher without better handholds. After a few more attempts, I move on for the day because I still want to try some other climbs, but I'll do my best to get my revenge on this before they reset it. This climb is more of a slab and it takes me a lot of tries before I can get it just right, so I'll speed the video up to 10 times speed. While this route was very hard for me, I found a trick after a few attempts that lets me complete the climb easily and consistently that I'll show you guys. In the meantime, you can see me playing around with many different foot placements, alternating between sitting and standing and pretty much trying everything I can until something works. I try to use my left foot on the starting green hold, I try to use my right foot, I try to have my foot parallel to the volume, perpendicular to the volume, I try to have my chest to the wall, I try to have my back to the wall, but nothing seems to work. Even when I can stand up on the start, I can't quite get both of my hands to the starting position for a legal start. But then I try a new foot placement that works extremely well. Instead of using my toes on the start hold, I slide my foot forward so the back of my midfoot towards my heel is where my weight is centered. I'm not sure why this works so much better than using my toes, but the difference is night and day. I think it might work because it allows me to get lower, which then allows my hands to touch the volume easier on the start. This next climb will be the hardest climb I've ever completed if I manage to get it. I have done a handful of purple climbs before, but this one feels harder than any of the other purple climbs that I've finished. The climb requires a pretty large reach on one of the moves, and it is on an overhang, which makes it hard to keep your legs on the wall at times. The beginning and end aren't too bad, but the one reaching move in the middle has given me some trouble. So I decided to practice just that reaching move, and pretty soon I am able to get it. After completing the reach, I can finish the rest of the climb after getting my feet back on the wall. Now it's time to put it all together and finish the climb. And just like that, we finished out day 1 with a super strong climb for me. I was really happy with this end. Just like we did on day 1, we start day 2 with a nice easy warm-up, doing some climbs we have done before or that look particularly easy. This red climb was pretty fun to figure out the first time I did it. I kept trying to heel hook the large red hold at first, but it didn't feel right. But at the end of this climb, you can still clearly see my fear of heights kick in as I dangle for a few seconds before dropping. I don't normally warm up on greens, but I've done this green before and it wasn't too bad. Now this is the climb I've been trying to get for a few days, but I just can't seem to get it right. I've seen people do it by going statically to the left or by going somewhat dynamically upwards. I'm not sure which way would be better for me at this point, but I'm leaning towards just going straight up so I can utilize my height and my wingspan. I play around with going for different holds, but it becomes apparent that there are only 2 feasible options for me: straight for the top hold or going to the hold immediately to the left of the start hold. Eventually I decide that the best beta for me will be going straight for the penultimate hold, so I practice this until I get good at it. After some tips and encouragement from some of my fellow rock climbers, I finally get a good jump off the start and get my hand up to the penultimate hold, as you can see here. I match my right hand, readjust my grip, and get my feet back on the wall, but right when I think I have it, I can't figure out how to get my hand to the top of the finishing volume, and despite my best efforts, I can't quite manage to touch it with both hands without having at least one on the top. Even when I get one hand on the top, it doesn't feel like I can support my weight. I'm not sure if this is because of my foot placement or if my forearms are just gassed from being on the wall for so long. So at this point I jump down, give my forearms some rest, and with the knowledge and confidence of making that first move, I give it another go, and this time I finish the route. Happy that I finished this climb I've been working on, and with the gym about to close, I conclude day 2 of climbing this week. Just like the previous days, day 3 begins with a nice little warm-up, but today I changed the warm-up up a bit. I do the same yellow climb a few times, but every time I do it, I use one less hold. The first time I use all the hand holds, the second time I skip the hand hold immediately after the starting hold, the third time I skip the second hand hold and the fourth hold. The fourth and final time I tried to solely use the starting hold, the third hold, and the finishing hold, but I didn't think I could make it, at least not at a warm-up level of intensity, so I hopped down and finished my warm-up with an overhanging yellow because I want to focus on overhangs today. After finishing the warm-up, I complete this overhanging purple, which I've done before, but overhangs are my favorite and this one was a ton of fun. The trickiest part of this climb is the last 2 holds. It's easiest to reach for the underhand grip, but this makes it slightly more difficult to support your body weight when bringing the left hand over. I have completed this climb both ways now, and it is better beta to go for the overhand grip even though it's slightly further of a reach. For the next climb, I set my sights on this overhanging orange, which is a bit ambitious for me, but I think there's a chance I can get it before they reset this wall. The starting holds are not very good, and it's difficult for me to start the climb, but I think I'll be able to find a beta that works for me with some more experimentation. However, my fingers start to take a toll, and I move on to a couple other climbs that caught my eye before calling it a day. I check out these purple and green climbs briefly, but my forearms and fingers are so tired at this point that I don't spend very long on them before calling it a day. On my 4th day of climbing this week, I am climbing with a friend who kindly offered to take the videos for today. This warm-up is a little shorter than usual because I was running a little late to meet my friend at the gym. Today I have my eyes set on this red climb that bested me earlier in the week. My friend was able to complete this route and was giving me some pointers while I climbed. The first thing that my friend pointed out was that I was not getting my feet high enough to be able to comfortably reach the top hold. On my next attempt, I try to get my legs up higher, which I do, but I have a hard time straightening them. At this point, I look at the video and compare it to my friend climbing and notice that my left elbow is bent where my friend's elbow is almost completely straight. I try to keep my arms straight and immediately see better results. This allows me to get one hand on the top hold, but I just can't quite finish the climb. I try a few more times, but to no avail. Perhaps it is a lack of confidence, or maybe fatigue setting in from 4 days of climbing in a week, but I may need to return to this climb again another day. This green climb was a lot of fun, and again with the tips from my friend, I make a lot of progress on it. Last week I couldn't even start the climb, but after today I can start it pretty consistently. I've seen people do this climb both statically and dynamically, but I think I'm going to be most likely to complete this climb statically. I have a long wingspan at about 6 foot 6 inches, so it isn't too difficult for me to span from one hold to the other and then bump my left hand up to catch the next hold. The only problem I face after bumping my hand up is the top hold. It is angled in a way that makes the climber put a lot of faith in his foot placement, and my confidence still isn't the best. I play around with some dynamic starts after almost topping out the boulder, but can't quite pull the trigger. Dynos are something I definitely want to work on, and I'll need to return to this boulder next week, not only to top it out, but also to work on my dynamic movements. And now we arrive at our final climb of the week. This was a heavy week of climbing for me, and my forearms and fingers are pretty gassed, so I finished out the week working on a slab problem. Slabs are definitely the type of climb I struggle with the most, and I think it's mostly due to my confidence, especially on the volumes and small footholds. I believe this green is very doable for me, but I will need to practice it a lot more to gain the confidence with my foot placements. This is the first installment of what I hope to be a weekly series detailing my climbing journey as I progress through the grades. As the channel grows, I hope to add more installments with other goals I have, such as doing my first triathlon. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'll see you guys next time.